During this video, we'll be discussing Assessment Task 5 project from the Screening and Lifestyle cluster. The units on screen will be covered during this assessment task. In Assessment Task 2, you had to take 2 clients through a health and screening process. In this assessment task, you're required to take one of these clients through a nutrition and goal setting process using the nutrition and goal setting template that is attached to this assessment task. As you can see described in the assessment task, you're required to educate the client on the role of the 5 food groups, issues caused by poor nutrition in line with the guidelines, and benefit of healthy eating in relation to how you feel physically and mentally. Remembering your nutritional advice as explained in class needs to be based on the healthy eating guidelines, which you're now familiar with. You're also expected to provide goal setting advice. This again should be based on the client's results from the health and screening process, and with the client you develop short, medium and long-term goals, look at barriers to participation or barriers to improvements previously, accountability, and look at the SMART formula in relation to goal setting. These points will be covered when you complete the nutrition and goal setting template. So by completing that template, you'll be covering off on these dot points. So your trainer and assessor will be observing you completing this template with the client. But as you fill this template in with the client, your trainer or assessor is expecting that you're providing some education on nutrition and some education during the goal setting process. So if we look at the template, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be asking the client questions about what they've eaten and drunk over the last few days. So they're the key elements of the first 5 questions. You're going to be looking at the food groups, and as you fill in the template, you're going to be using this as a bit of an education process with the client. And then question 7, based on the information, what basic nutritional recommendations would you make to your classmate? Be sure to consider fluid intake as well. These may be practical suggestions and not just eat fewer sweets or drink more water. So basically, what recommendations have you made to the client? You need to obviously discuss that with them, but also write it in here on the template. And then you're going to go through the goal setting process in the next part of the template. What are their goals, short, medium and long term, and why they're important. So again, normally a goal setting process is done by the trainer in consultation with the client. So it's a bit of a joint effort putting these goals together. You're looking at the availability, barriers to achieving goals. So what sort of things are going to get in the way, or what things have got in the way in the past, and strategies to overcome these barriers. At the bottom of the page, you'll see a rubric, which is what your trainer assessor will use to assess you. So again, familiarize yourself with all these points, because this is what your trainer is going to be looking for. Okay, did they set long-term goals? Did you look at barriers to participation? All these dot points here need to be considered. So they're looking at how you filled the template in, but also how you guided the client, how you educated the client during the process. So familiarize yourself with these dot points, because this is what your trainer and assessor, as mentioned earlier, will be assessing you against during this assessment task. After completing the nutrition and goal setting template, you're required to submit it as part of this assignment. Remember, if you're having any challenges with any of the components of this assessment task, please speak to your VFA trainer and assessor.